What's going on, guys? Alex here, just on my morning walk. Thought I'd kill two birds with one stone this morning, and as always, before going into this, I didn't really have much of a sense of what I'm going to talk about, but I wanted to go into a little bit of depth on a topic I was writing about yesterday. And if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, that's where I share a lot of my ideas in writing. The handle is AlexMathers84. Make sure you're following me there. But the topic that I wrote about that I thought would be interesting for today is discipline and how to be more disciplined. Now, first of all, discipline is a very heavy word, isn't it? A lot of people associate discipline with pain and doing things they don't want to do. Discipline, you might argue, is a mechanism we put in place to do the things that we don't really want to do, we don't feel like doing, so we need to be disciplined. And it feels difficult and it feels like a heavy kind of should action, which isn't a lot of fun. So I talked about seeing discipline from another point of view, which is to find a way to enjoy it. Is that even possible? And I'm talking about things that we don't always enjoy. Bit of an oxymoron. So there are certain things that we need to include in our lives if we are to create the things we want to create that aren't always so fun. So it's not all about doing what we love, it's about doing what we need to do. And even the stuff that we think is going to bring us lots of joy will incorporate elements that we don't always enjoy. So it could be that we want to be a writer, but of course that involves getting up and writing when we don't feel like it and staying consistent. But here's the thing, if we can find a way to enjoy even the hard things and forget the idea of discipline, just drop all that, because discipline is heavy, discipline is tedious, and discipline is something that we all want to rebel against. Instead of seeing it that way, see discipline as, or see the things you know you need to do that you don't always feel like doing, see those as opportunities to embrace some pain. This isn't a new idea, and I've talked about it several times, but there is something interesting about the idea that if we can flip our perspective on something as every day as pain, something that we tend to want to avoid, and see it as something that we might want to move towards. Can you imagine the reality of that? Isn't there something satiating, interesting, rewarding about being the only guy running in the rain when everyone else is indoors, and you're kind of savoring that discomfort, and you're being a bit of a nutcase in the process? Isn't it about being a bit crazy and falling in love with that pain? Isn't there an interesting there is a sort of awe that's generated around people, if you've noticed, who seem to get a lot done and seem to be very disciplined and seem to enjoy pain? There's something interesting about that aspect of humanity, that it's even possible that we can kind of lean into things that most people hate and find a way to relish that kind of stuff. And I think that's what it's all about. I think to really be disciplined, if you want to be disciplined and you want to be more productive on the right things, and you want to get ahead in life, and you want to sort of raise above the general scared, frightened, tired, bored, undisciplined masses, there's no other alternative really than to find a way to enjoy the things that most people don't enjoy. And that's something just to think about for a bit, is what are those things in my life that I keep avoiding, I keep procrastinating on, I keep coming up with excuses around, that I could start developing a healthier relationship because I'm starting to be more welcoming to and accepting of discomfort as a positive. Can being uncomfortable be something to relish, something to lean into, something to ride like a horse as a way to get to where you want to go more efficiently, more effectively? Rather than stumbling around walking to your destination, you can get on the horse of discomfort. So it's a bit loud here. I'm feeling rather uncomfortable being so close to the road, see what I mean? So think about things that way. That can be helpful, because discomfort from the point of view of most people is going to be inevitable in everything that we do. There's always going to be problems, there's always going to be challenges, there will always be frustrations, certainly when seen through the perspective, through the filter of the average Joe, there's always going to be something to complain about. There will always be something to perceive as unenjoyable, right? But you can have the power. This is the beauty of being human, is that we can change our perspective whenever we want. We can say, you know what, this is not comfortable for you, but I'm going to find a way to make it comfortable. I'm going to find a way to relish it. If you can do that, then you can really zip along, and you will find things opening up for you in amazing ways, because you're no longer resisting pain. You're no longer using pain as a guiding light for things to avoid. You're using pain as an opportunity. So that's something to play with. You don't have to start being a complete masochist anytime soon and just sort of self-flagellating every morning with a stick, but you might want to start playing with the idea that a lot of this is in our minds, and pain is kind of self-created. They've even done studies and things on how physical pain can be avoided if somebody's not putting their attention on what it is. If you've got someone who's completely absorbed in something else, and something's cutting their leg, they won't feel the cut because they're so absorbed in something else. So it's all internally generated pain. So that's another thing. To close off then, guys, if you want to be more disciplined, forget the heaviness of discipline, forget all that. Focus on finding ways to enjoy what you're doing, and especially those things that previously brought you discomfort. Is there a way to find those enjoyable? Can you experiment in small ways? Think of something that tends to be procrastinated on for you, and see if you can find a way to lean into that and have fun with it, to relish that discomfort. That's it from me, guys. Hope that was helpful. If you want to hear more videos like these, do subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment on perhaps future ideas I can discuss. And as always, it's a pleasure. So I will see you in the next video. Take care.